apologies for taking so long on this video. I've been locked away for like 5 days researching every Pestilence build on YouTube. Why? Because Pestilence is the best weapon in the game. Actually, no, it's not. I'm joking. It's my favourite weapon, so therefore I'm going to say it's the best weapon and I'm willing to fight about it. Come on, put them up. No, it's really not. However, there is a load of misconceptions and wrongdoings with this weapon, and it bothers me no end. And I'm really tired of seeing people being like, oh, the most powerful Pestilence build, and one-man army Pestilence build, and God tier Pestilence build, and never die Pestilence build. And I'm over it. So I've gone through pretty much every Pestilence build that I can find. I've checked all the numbers, put them all on the spreadsheet. I've got the spreadsheet this time. Look, ready? See? Spreadsheet. It's not all of them. These are just the ones that I found that were noteworthy. I'll be going over it in a bit. So yeah, I basically just grinded out, made a load of builds, tested them. If I couldn't be bothered to actually test them firsthand, I sadly was forced to trust the footage provided by other YouTubers, and I called in the wonderful Rise of Brutality yet again. Pretty sure you guys are probably bored of hearing me say it by now, but go check him out on Twitch. Rise of Bloody Brutality. He helped me out immensely with this video, helping with testing and build diversity and ideas. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best player I have ever seen. If you end up joining my Discord, I'll most likely forward you to his Discord, because anything Division 2 related that I go on about, I do in his Discord. I really should try and get a more permanent link for it. However, yeah, he is a fountain of knowledge, a fountain of skill, genuinely nice guy, has all the builds and ideas, and will absolutely help anyone provided he has the free time. Anyway, let's get this ball rolling. Right, so first off, of the notable builds, there were 7 that really stood out, leaps and bounds above the rest. They're all mostly pretty similar, just quite interesting, really. So build 1 is the Pestilence build I'd been using for a damn long time. Pestilence, Carbine 7, Walker Harris mask, Cheska backpack, Petrov chest with glass cannon, the backpack has vigilance, Contractor's gloves, Grupo holster, Sawyer's knees. All rolls apart from Sawyer's knees obviously are crit chance, crit damage. That is build 1. Build 2, the exact same, apart from this time we are running perfect glass cannon, the sacrifice. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Build 3, obviously Pestilence, main thing here. Petrov chest with glass cannon, Contractor's gloves, Cheska backpack with vigilance, 2-piece heartbreaker for that 12% LMG damage, and of course Sawyer's knees. This is one that I see a lot of people running. And then obviously build 4 is pretty much the exact same, except we're running perfect glass cannon. Had to end up testing these builds twice due to the fact that the mask and holster only had one roll. I was either sacrificing crit chance or sacrificing crit damage, so I did one with as high as crit chance as I could possibly get, and then one with as high as crit damage as I could possibly get, and then tried to make a little balanced one in between. I've got the results for, well, 2 of them, because the one going for high crit damage, but I think it was like 42% crit chance. It just, yeah, it failed miserably. Not even worth mentioning. So, moving on. Build number 5, courtesy of the lovely Rise of Brutality. Coyote's mask, Petrov with glass cannon, Grupo holster, Cheska backpack with vigilance, Contractor's gloves, and Fox's prayer. I am running an AR just because health damage, it's a thing and it helps out. Build number 6 is Hollow Man. Yeah, you heard. Hollow Man. Crit chance, crit damage rolls still. Petrov chest, Grupo Sombra holster, Cheska backpack, Walker and Harris gloves, it outperforms contractors, don't ask. And finally, Fox's prayer. And then the last, well, second to last technically, is pretty much the exact same build, apart from we are now running Sawyer's knees. Although they are the, at the moment, these are the top 7 builds. I shit you not. As for reference, I googled the most powerful Pestilence build, and yeah, I had so many people pop up. Yeah, Mark of Blades in his Hunter Fury one-man army god tier Pestilence build. When ranking them, his came up 57th. Yeah, Strikers builds came, depending on how you played it, anywhere from 22nd to 31st. There are about 4 different variations of it. Yeah, it did better than I thought, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, anyway, the most powerful god tier Pestilence build that I decided to use as my baseline was Monsieur Kamikaze Von Doom, because his is probably the most recent out of all of them. Bragged about it a lot. It's got a lot of views and a lot of idiots liking it and not realising what's going on. Right, first things first. I categorised everything like this. So non-crit, what I got on a crit, my tick damage, my total damage over 10 bullets. You have 605 RPM, which means you fire roughly 10 bullets a second. You get 1 tick a second. So total out of 10 is 10 bullets and 1 tick. Total damage per magazine. The weapon damage on that, any build that was running Sawyers, I waited for Sawyers to get max stack, and to show the weapon damage, I added the 30% from Sawyers manually on. So if you're looking at the actual damage numbers from the spreadsheet, you're going, hang on, how's he got that weapon damage? That's not right. It's because I've added in the 30% from Sawyers. The overall DPS, that's from the weapon damage calculating DPS. The overall sustain, which I'll go over in a minute. The maximum DPS, this is your typically like your crit, the amount that you will crit with the appropriate amount of ticks added on over the course of 1 second. And then finally the total output. This is your maximum DPS adding in with your sustain. So this is essentially how much damage you would do over the course of like a prolonged firefight where you've got to get into cover and reload, how much you would potentially do as a full-on sustainable output. Sustain is how much damage you average including reloads. A sustainable output is, it's kind of hard to explain this in layman's terms. However, due to Pestilence and its tick, sustainable output is what we're actually looking for. Sustain is always better than DPS with Pestilence because of that tick. However, that tick is not the be all and end all, and I will show you pretty damn soon why. So build 1, just to refresh your memories, and build 1's numbers were, its non-crit was 279,115. On crit it was 647,546. My total tick damage was 1,395,574, and my total damage across 10 bullets was 6 million. Just to show that tick damage is not the be all and end all, of that 6 million, only 1.3 of it was from the tick. That means another 4.7 million damage was from me shooting something. I'm getting really bored of people being like, oh, I can do like 1.8 mil a tick. That's great, but your bullet damage probably sucks, because normally to get that sort of damage, you're making a lot of concessions. Bragging about your tick size is a bit like about bragging your dick size. No one actually should give a shit, and if you do, you're in the wrong fucking job. Damage over the course of a magazine is 62.4 mil. My weapon damage is 146,676. This is with Sawyers added. That's what that S stands for. My DPS from base is 1.8 million. My sustain, which is magazine times damage divided by reload plus mag divided by RPM divided by 60, that's over 60 seconds, is 1.2 million. My maximum DPS, which is calculated by using my critical hit damage over the course of 1 second, is 6.8 mil. This is pretty accurate if you actually pay attention to when I'm shooting. And my final output, although this actually might not be the right build for this particular one, but still, my final output is 8.1 million damage. So here comes that spreadsheet again. As you can see, build 1 with glass cannon, that's how I'm remembering them. So build 1, you can see that those numbers should match up. Swapping it over to perfect glass cannon, shock and horror, right? We actually get more damage because that extra 5% multiplier. So we're getting more on non-crit, more on crit, our tick is slightly more, our total over 10 rounds is more, we're doing more per magazine, albeit only by about 2 mil, just over 2 mil. We've got slightly more on our weapon damage, our DPS at base is slightly higher, but our sustain is lower. Why is our sustain lower? Well, that would be because running 2-piece Petrov gives us 10% weapon handling, so we have a lower reload rate, which means we're able to get back into the fight to deal more damage quicker. From there, we're looking at our maximum DPS. As you can see, it is actually higher. However, our final output is only 200k higher. So now we go on to the Heartbreaker build. So first one is Heartbreaker with glass cannon. Non-crit is 290,744. Crit is 730,617. You might be able to tell already we're lower than my original build. Tick is slightly more at 1.4 mil. Total over 10 bullets is 5.7. Over a magazine it's 58 mil, 579,252. Our weapon damage is 152,789. It's obviously higher because we've got like 35% LMG damage. Our DPS is 1.9 mil and our sustain is 1.2 mil, 1,271,770 to be precise. This was using a build more weighted towards crit damage. To even it out and give myself a higher crit chance but lower crit damage, our non-crit was 290. Again, our crit dropped to 558,000. Our tick was still 1.4 mil. Our total damage over 10 bullets was 5.4 mil. So we've dropped a good like 300,000 there. Our total over the course of a magazine was 55 mil, previously it was 58. Our weapon damage, DPS and sustain have remained the same. Now taking the more crit damage build, our total max DPS is 6.6 mil, and if we go for one that has closer to 60% crit chance, we got 5.9 mil. Our total output was 7.1. Swapping out glass cannon for perfect glass cannon, we got 302,374 for non-crit. Crit was 566,153. Our tick was 1.5 mil. Our total over 10 bullets was 5.9 mil. Our total per mag was 60 mil. Our DPS is still 152,000, adding in Sawyers. Our DPS is just over 2 mil, and our sustain is 1.3 mil. So far, this is the highest sustain. Looks like it could potentially be winning. On a build that had slightly more crit but lower crit damage, we got 302,374. Our crit dropped to 583,583. Our tick damage is still 1.5 mil. Our total across 10 bullets was 5941658. This is not that much of a loss, where previously it was 5950. We're now down to 5941. Our total magazine damage is 6.1 mil. Weapon damage and DPS and sustain remain the same. However, our maximum DPS with the more crit damage heavy build is 6.9 mil, whereas a more crit chance based one was 6.1 mil. Total output was 7.5 mil. Coming in as build number 5, our non-crit was 251, 219. Our crit was 675, 780. This is the highest so far. Our tick damage was 1.2 mil, which is the lowest so far. However, our damage over 10 bullets is 5.8 mil, nearly 5.9. Our damage across the entire magazine is 61 mil. Our weapon damage is 146,913. Our base DPS is 1.8 mil, and our sustain is 1.3 mil. Our maximum DPS, taking our crit into account, is 7 million, and our final output is 8.3. So, yeah. Now, some of you might notice that on the end there's KVD. I took his headshot LMG build. The crit is the damage you would get with a headshot, totaling 927,971. This is absolutely the highest so far, don't get me wrong. The tick is 1.8 million. However, taking in the average player's headshot ratios with an LMG, on average, our total damage over 10 bullets is only 5.4 mil. Our total damage per magazine is 54 mil. Our sustain is like 99,000. Yeah. You might notice that the max DPS at the bottom right hand side, the 3.1 mil is what happens if only 20 of your bullets hit the head. The middle number, the 6.4 mil, that's what happens if 80 of your bullets hit the head. And that final 9.5 mil, that is every single one of your bullets hitting the head. If you are able to do this, then absolutely it does technically count as the most powerful LMG build. Technically not clickbait, so well done, Kamikaze. However, even after watching your footage, I've noticed that barely, I'd say 56% of your shots hit the head, which puts you below the 6.4 mil, because that's 80% of your bullets hitting the head, which on average, when you actually calculate in the final output, puts you at the 37th most powerful Pestilence build that I have found. If you want the most powerful Pestilence build that I have found, it is Coyotes and Foxes. It would be build number 5 so far. In number 2, it would be the build that's pretty much identical to the one I've been toting all this time, but with perfect last cannon. Then my build. After that, it goes into Hollow Man builds, using the Hollow Man health multiplier to get extra tick damage, and using Walker Harris gloves. This would be build numbers 6 and 7. In total, they work out better. Then, finally, Heartbreaker builds. In fact, the Heartbreaker build with normal glass cannon is, of the top 8, is number 8. So yeah, Heartbreaker on your Pestilence is not as good as people think it is or are telling you. Anyway, take from this what you will. I am absolutely under no illusion that there are probably better and stronger builds out there for Pestilence. I just haven't found them yet. I think I tested something like over 109 LMG builds that I have found on YouTube, as well as getting a few friends involved. approximately 109 LMG builds. They are the top 8. And I'm actually slightly disgusted that KVD is even mentioned. But yeah, that is not the most powerful LMG build. It's 7th at best. Anyway, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.